Hey my amazing people, Hamza here and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to show you how you can add a contact form to your WordPress or Elementor website for free. In this case, we are going to be using the most popular contact form plugin for WordPress called Contact Form 7, and I'll show you how to customize it and also style it to look beautiful for your Elementor website. So in case you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and also if you like the video, give it a like. Now let's jump straight into the video and get started. The contact form we are going to create is going to look exactly like this one, with a name field, an email field, with an option to choose between two options using the radio buttons, and also the checkbox options over here. And I will also show you how to choose a drop-down menu option where your website users are able to choose between 2 or 3 more options in the drop-down option, and they will also have the option to add an additional message on this form. And then they are also able to share with you a contact of their choice, either for Zoom or WhatsApp, then later on submit that form to you. Once they submit it, it will come straight into your email. Just like you see over here, I received an email. That email was sent by a sender whose email appears over here, and also the receiver's email will appear somewhere here. And here goes the message that came from the contact form, the name of the sender, and the subject. The subject is picked up from the reason as to why someone sent you the message, which is over here. So someone can send you an email and the reason maybe they chose 2 or 3 more options. So that shows up just like you see here. They chose 2 options, and the device type they use is iOS, because the kind of contact form we are creating is for a phone service company or a company that tries to repair phones, sell accessories, or even check up phones. So in this case, these people have to specify the kind of phone they are using, so that maybe the service provider will know what kind of service they will require from them. And then over here there is a message body where someone adds more additional info to the service provider, and down below here they added their contact, of which the service provider can reach them via. So now let's get started in our WordPress website creating our contact form. And to create a contact form, we are going to install the Contact Form 7 plugin, and under my plugin section you realize that I actually already have a Contact Form 7 plugin installed. To install the Contact Form 7 plugin, you simply just come here to the plugins area, and then you're going to simply search for Contact Form 7. Once it shows up over here, currently it has over 5 million active installs. Simply install and activate. I already have it installed and activated. It will appear in this list over here. After installing our Contact Form 7 plugin, what else to do? There will come a menu option over here called Contact, and once you click over there, you see a default contact form created. This is created once you install the Contact Form 7 plugin. What I'm going to do for now is to copy this shortcode, and I'm going to come here to my pages, and I'm going to open up my contact page using Elementor. Once my contact page is opened up, what I'm going to do is now to add my contact form to this page. I'm going to come over here, add a new section, and I'm going to come over here to the widgets area, and I'll look up for a shortcode widget, and I'll add that shortcode widget to our page, and I'll paste our shortcode that we got from the Contact Form 7 plugin, and boom, by default a form shows up, which is the default Contact Form 7 form. And that's how it will basically look like in the Elementor free version, because the shortcode widget doesn't give you the style option to style up your contact form to look just like this. For example, whereby you are able to style up your name fields and labels, and also styling up your button just like this. This form over here doesn't give you the style option, and at the same time doesn't give you the option to customize your fields and also the labels. I'm doing this demo simply because in the Elementor free version you don't have the form widget or the widget that you are able to use to create a form. It's in the pro version, and in that form widget, that's where you are able to create your own contact form, and then you have all the options to style it. In the free version you only have the option to actually add the shortcode, and that's how it will appear on your website using the default colors and default stylings. We are able to create this kind of form in Elementor using an Elementor add-on that gives us even more features to style up our contact form, and that's what we are going to do currently. by installing the add-on which is called Premium Add-ons for Elementor. And when you come back here to your website, you go to plugins, you realize that already had installed the Premium Add-ons for Elementor. To install Premium Add-ons for Elementor, you simply just go here to the plugins area, add a new plugin, and then search for Premium Add-ons. Once you have it installed and activated, it will show up down here in the menu option. Come over here and then straight down to the widgets and add-ons, and make sure that the premium contact form widget is active. If it is not active, that means that when you come over here to your widgets area in Elementor and search for the contact form widget, it will not appear here. Make sure that you have it active and then save changes. So once that is done, now we know that we have gotten an add-on that we are going to use to style up our contact form on our website. Now go straight to our contact form plugin and customize it even further. What do I mean by that? You see, when you look at the default contact form, it only has the name field, email field, subject field, and the message field, including the button field. However, in the contact form I've shown you that we are going to create, it has 4 more other different options that we are able to collect from our website visitors. This includes the radio option, the checkbox option, the menu drop-down option, and also the phone or text option down below here. So how do you add these options to your default contact form or in a new contact form that you can easily add to your website? So by coming back here to your menu and come to the contact forms, you can simply say add a new contact form, and here we're going to say this contact form is called phone log, and by default it has these default values just like you saw on the default contact form here. But now we are going to add our unique fields that we want to collect from our website visitors, specifically for our line of business. So what we are going to do is come back here. The first field we are going to add is number 1, the radio option, asking our users or website visitors what kind of phone they are using. So if they're using an Android or iOS, they simply just click on any of the two. So we are going to just come here to our contact form, and after the email field, we are going to add a radio button, and it's going to be iOS option and Android. Okay, so each of these should be on a separate line. I'm going to uncheck this and I'll just leave everything just on default, and then I simply now have added the radio buttons, your device. So this will be our label. Then next we're going to add the checkbox option, which is this over here, the reason why they are contacting us, whether they want a phone checkup, a repair, or accessories, or basically they want to call or talk to us. So I come back here, I'll add an option for checkboxes. I can make it required because this is what we are also going to pick up as our email heading or the header for our email. So we're going to just come back here and then we just add those options. First option is phone checkup, repair, maybe they want to repair their phone, or maybe they want to get accessories, or they want to chat with us. Okay, so I'm going to uncheck all these. I can insert the tag and I'm going to add a label. So here I'll say your reason. So in the case whereby you don't want to add a checkbox option, you may want to simply use a drop-down option just like this here. However, the user will still have the same abilities of selecting more than one option. So in this case, you can simply just add a drop-down menu. Okay, to do that, in case you're not using this, so you simply just come over here and then you add the drop-down menu and then add your menu items, and then you can say allow multiple selections, and then you can say insert a blank item as the first option. This is what they mean. You see, when I scroll over here, you realize I have a blank item. It's the first option. So I'll just say yes, then I insert. Okay, now this looks so far so good. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add the last option of picking up their phone numbers or their Zoom contact. Simply say add a telephone, and we can add a default value. So this default value can be maybe that. Use this as a placeholder. So a placeholder, what they mean is this is going to appear right here before even anyone starts typing. You can say insert a tag and here we are going to say Zoom ID /WhatsApp contact. So that's it. So I'm going to say save changes, and then now I automatically be provided with a shortcode. I'm going to copy this shortcode, come over here, and then come select our shortcode widget we had added, and now add our new shortcode. Okay, so now I update. Now you realize that yes, we have now a new contact form having the name field, email field, the device or radio option field, just like you see here. And then your reason is over here, and then now we also have added the menu drop down where also someone is able to select more than one option. Now in this case we are going to remove the subject field because the subject of our form is going to be the reason, and once someone checks any of these options, they will all appear in the subject of the email. Okay, so let me remove this, come back here to our contact form, and we are going to come here to the subject field and delete that. And we are going to rename our message field and just say brief description. This is because once someone is sending in their phone issues, maybe they have already chosen a type of device and maybe they want to check up their phone. Now you want them to explain to you further as a phone technician to understand the issue they are facing, or why they maybe want to do a checkup, or why they want a certain accessory. Okay, now what I'm going to do is update. You realize that the subject field is out, and now we have the brief description, and someone is able to write over here, and they can also add their Zoom or WhatsApp contact. So the next thing is, how do we make sure that the emails that are sent through this phone are actually going to where we want them to go? When we come back here to our contact form, we have the mail option, and under the mail option we have to set up where the emails are sent, where they're coming from, the subject field, and all this stuff here. Okay, so we'll start with the to field. The to field basically describes to where that email is going to be sent. By default, it is sending to the admin email of the site. The admin email of the site appears over here in the site settings. There is something called general. I simply just command clicked and it shows up here. This is a site admin email, and whenever someone is going to use that contact form, now it will be sending those emails straight to this email address. So that's what it is echoing here. However, you can as well add a custom email address. For example, your business email at gmail.com or your email at gmail.com, whatever you want. In this case, let me use my Gmail. The next is the from field. This is a field that should actually have the domain name of that specific website in the address. It can be a generic one, but it should have at thatwebsite.com or .net, because without that, the contact form 7 plugin will mark this form as invalid. So what you have to do is create an admin email at yourwebsite.com. It can be care@yourwebsite.com. Just make sure you have that one email that you'll add over here, so that those emails will actually show you that they are coming from your website. Before we move on to the subject field, you see we have a field here called site title. This means that for every email that you're going to be receiving, it will have the site title, which is phone lock for now, and you set the site title from here in settings, general. You see we have the site title over here as phone lock Inc. So for every email that we will receive, it will start with the site title, and then we will see the from email, which is your admin email. Next is the subject. So the subject is up to you to pick up which subject you are going to display on your website. In this case, we are going to display the site title and also the subject field. So the subject field is what we actually deleted from our form, which was somewhere here. But in this case, we are going to pick up our reason as our subject field. So to do that, we are going to come back here to our contact form, and we are going to remove this, and we are going to replace it with the checkbox option, because the checkbox option is representing the reason or the subject of the email. So I'll copy this, come over here and replace this. Next is the reply to email. So once you receive these emails into your inbox, you want that when you hit reply, it will send an email to the email that person filled in over here. That since this email is coming from my website, when I hit reply, automatically it's going to pick up the email that someone fed in at the email option over here. That means you will be sending an email straight to the inbox of your client. Even over here in the email details, you realize that the reply to is actually sending to the client's email direct. Anyway, now back into our editor. This is going to send a response to the client's email, which is your email, and that is a form field here called your email. Anyway, now straight down here to the message body. So the message body is how we filter what kind of information shows up in our message body. We want to know who has sent us the email by collecting their from name, their email address, and that email will show up, and the subject. In this case, we have our subject as our checkbox 594. So I'll just come back here, copy our checkbox as our 594. This means that whatever reason they will have checked here will show up in our subject line. Okay, now back here, the message body, of course, is going to be your message, which is actually the message. And I think one more option we can add is collect also their Zoom or contact to show up in the message body. So now it's going to be like the from name, the subject, and the contact. You see as it's appearing over here, from name, from email, and now we have added another one called the contact. Back into our contact form, we are going to receive this email in the HTML type because it will look a little bit more stylish. So we are going to check this, then I save changes. Then under messages, you can basically reformat and reword how the error messages are going to appear in case your website user is experiencing errors. If the sender's message was sent successfully, this is what it will say: thank you for your message, it has been sent. We can just say it has been sent successfully. So you see, you can easily edit this option here, and then once you are done, you simply save changes. What I'm going to do now is first of all come here and test our form. To test this form, we are going to come over here on our form tool. We're using the default widget from Elementor, the shortcode widget. We are going to look into the form styling just after this step. What we are doing now is to test our form, whether it does what we want. So the from name is tutor, and from email is hamza@gotechug.com. The device I use is iOS. By default, it is selected, but I can also select whether Android. Just turn it back to iOS, and your reason, I'm actually wanting them to check up my phone and also want to buy some devices from them. I'll not check this option over here. In fact, I'm going to delete it because it doesn't make any sense. It's basically showing up the same information. I'll not use it for now. So here I'm going to come and say, hey team. Down below here, I'll add my contact in case they want to reach out to me. Then I'm going to submit. Now, once I submit, this email should be sent to the Gmail address. Once you, the website owner, hit respond or hit reply, it will send that email back to what was here. So it looks like our form has been sent successfully. Now you realize that our word successfully was added to the form. Now let's go to our inbox. We have a new email in our inbox. It's coming from this site name and also the subject of the email. It is showing two options because in the subject option, we chose the checkbox option. And in the checkbox option, whatever your client or your website user checks over here when they are sending you an email, that is what will appear here in the subject of the email. Okay, now let me open up the new email and boom. So the email is from the tutor. Okay, this is what we put up as our name. The subject is, this is what we picked up, and phone checkup and accessories, and contact is the phone number that we wanted to collect, and the message body is hey team. And if you don't want this to appear in your emails, simply just come back here to your contact form and delete this statement from your message body field. Now we realize that our form is working nice and neat. Now let's go to the option of styling up our form and how it looks like. Now back into our Elementor editor, we're going to style up our contact form. But to style up that contact form to look nice and neat in the free version of Elementor, we are going to use a third-party add-on from the premium add-ons for Elementor. Simply duplicate this. So I'm going to delete this widget. I'm going to come here to the widgets area, and I'm going to look up for the contact form widget from the premium add-ons for Elementor. Simply drag it into your section, and here you have the options to choose which contact form to display. Now this is very vital because you may have already created more than one contact forms in your website. So in this case, actually my contact form is not showing up simply because this page has not been updated yet. So I can simply just update and reload the page. Okay, so once my page reloads, I'm going to come back here to our premium contact form widget, select it, click on the drop down option. Now you realize that we have a new contact form showing up called the phone law contact form. This is because we have more than 2 contact forms. When you come back here and come here to contact forms, you see that we have the phone law contact form, the default contact form, and also a test contact form. That's why we have these 3 options showing up here. Now next, we are going to customize these form fields, how they look like currently, and by default, the default styling from premium add-ons for Elementor, so we can reduce on the size, which you are actually unable to do using the shortcode widget from Elementor. So I'm going to go straight to the style, and we have the input field background. So this is the input field background. We can put a color over there. So I'm going to choose from one of these. You realize that now we have an input field background, but I want it to be lighter. So we can have something like this, a little bit lighter. For the border radius, we can make it a solid border. I'll make it 50. And I can as well give it a specific color. So in this case, maybe I give it that color. Okay, so moving on, we can add a focus border color. So when someone clicks in one of these fields, it changes to a different color so that the person using the form knows that this is where I am right now. So I'm going to say, add this color. So now when I come and click on this, boom, that's the focus border color, boom, another. When I click here, boom, shows up. Then for the labels, I can make changes to the typography and also the style. So I'm going to start with the color. So I'm going to change this to our text color. And for the typography, I'm going to reduce the font size. And then also for our input fields, we're going to make them that they are the same size as the labels. So that's going to be 25 and 25. So that is for the input type, going to be 25, same font. For the placeholder color, for this one here, we can change that to our color that we want. Let's go to the button. The text color is going to be white, this white, and then we're going to have a background color, which is that color. And then for the hover, it's going to stay white still, and then we're going to give it a background color of that color. See, when I hover, that's what happens. When we come to the form fields, we can change the input fields, how wide they are, and we can choose to use the percentage. For example, we can say the input field is going to take 100% of the width. We can even say 75%, or we can say 50% of the width. 75 is better. The same for the text area. Make sure that you have the percentage icon selected, and the input field height, let me say 70 looks good for me. And for the text area, you can as well adjust its height and make it smaller or bigger. So for me, 150 I think will work best, because people are not going to write a lot on this brief description. I can simply just say a percentage, and I want maybe this button to only take up about also 75 of the width. So here goes our form that we have just created. I'll update, and we are going to preview our page to look up for our contact form that we have just styled up. It is the contact form 2, and this is how it looks like. I'm going to go back and remove this option, come to our contact form, edit the contact form. I'll remove this menu drop down option. I'll save. Okay, so our form 2, the menu drop down menu now is out. We have our text or contact submission field here and our button looking beautiful and neat. I realized I am unable to actually center this whole form unless I play around with the padding so that it moves further into the center, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to just simply select the form field and I'm going to increase a little bit to make this 100%. I'm also going to make the button to be 100%, so just simply come over here, make it to be 100%, then I update. Contact form is showing up with all these options that we set up to appear on our contact form. This looks way better compared to what the Elementor shortcode widget is giving us that we are actually unable even to format. Now back into our editor, I'm going now to delete the very last section so we only have our contact form, and now we're going to add something awesome to stop abuses on your contact forms and spam. We're going to add a reCaptcha to your contact form. So to do that, we're going to come back here to our contact form, come to integration. Under integration, there is something called reCaptcha. We're going to set up a reCaptcha here, and we're going to add our site key and the site secret. Just click on this link. So I'll just go to the v3 admin console and I'm going to add a site, and this site is this site of ours. Just come over here, grab the domain, add your site domain, which is that, and we want the version 3, and down below here you have to still add the domain name and the owners of that domain name. You have to accept the terms of service and then submit, and once you submit, your v3 site key and secret shows up over here. Copy that, come back to integrations, paste your site key, come to the reCaptcha, copy your site secret, come back here, paste your site secret and save changes. When I come back now here to a live page, I'm going to simply reload. Now we have integrated a reCaptcha on our website, whereby helps you to protect your website from automated abuses from robots and a lot of spammers. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial brought you value, from learning how to create a custom contact form for your WordPress website to learning how to add that contact form in your Elementor free version, but also further styling that contact form to look way beautiful, just like this here. Not only that, but also protecting your contact forms from spam and abuses. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this tutorial, please give it a like. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, because that actually helps me out. Have a good time and goodbye.